Good Saturday morning, fellow high seas cruisers. Chris here, and welcome to this week's episode of What Every Cruiser Wants. And we're going to do a special episode this week, and we're going to call it Why Didn't the Cruise Lines Tell Me? Which means it's going to be all about comments from people who want to know, why didn't the cruise lines provide me this information before I got on my cruise? How was I supposed to know? So let's jump into today's comments, starting off with our first one today. It's going to be about, why didn't the cruise lines tell me that there could be children on a cruise ship? I think Carnival should warn childless people about when there are lots of kids on a cruise, like they let us know about hurricanes. So this person wants the cruise line to let them know. Maybe send out an email, post it on their website that says, hey, you're childless for your upcoming cruise. We need to warn you that there may be children on a family cruise. No need to use a little bit of common sense to say, hey, it is summertime. Kids are out of school. There will be more of them on the ship. It is a major holiday when kids are out of school. There might be more of them on the ship. No, it is the cruise line's responsibility to let them know there could be children on board a cruise ship. It's not like Carnival Cruise Lines is the fun ships, the family cruise line. No. It's not like it should be a surprise that you get on board this type of cruise and there are children. Instead of thinking, instead of researching, instead of applying a little common sense, instead we ask the question, why didn't the cruise lines tell me? Next up, let's talk about parking for your cruise. Because, the cruise lines, well, they don't own the parking lots. The port authorities do, or the privately owned parking lots, or perhaps you park at a hotel, none of which is owned by the cruise line. None of which is controlled by the cruise line. But when there's a parking problem, of course, why don't you ask the cruise line, why didn't you tell me? We have 2 cabins on Panorama for $629. Come to find out that parking at Long Beach is bad, very bad. Then I discovered the Marriott Courtyard parking garage only has a 6-foot 10-inch ceiling height, and SUVs cannot be parked there. There is no info on this on Carnival's website. This right here is why people get so exasperated with you and your endless jabber. Parking is important to 99% of your cruisers. So the parking garage height information for the Marriott Courtyard Hotel is not on Carnival Cruise Line's website? That's just crazy to think. Well, why is the cruise lines not telling me about hotel parking? I'm an adult. I'm not responsible for doing any research. I'm not responsible for finding out any information that I need to know. I booked a cruise. I expect the cruise line to tell me every little detail from the second I walk out my door. Why didn't the cruise line tell me? And parking is important to 99% of the cruisers out there. It's just important for everybody. I believe that the 99% of people who do use parking before their cruise are probably smart enough to do a little bit of research and kind of say, where is going to be the best place for me to park and what information I need to know before I get there, because I don't need the cruise line to tell me. On to comment number 3, and we're going to talk about ports of call. Different things that are in ports of call. Now, the cruise lines do provide information about cruise ports specifically, but you know what? Not every destination you go to, not every destination you visit is a cruise port. Some of them are very rustic. Some of them are very small, hidden, out of the way places that, 1, don't get a lot of visitors, 2, don't have a lot of infrastructure, 3, definitely aren't what you see every day in the United States. So if you are going to a cruise port that you are not familiar with, would you not do a little bit of research ahead of time? That seems like the right thing to do. That seems like the thing with the common sense. But no. Again, why didn't the cruise line tell me? Bit disappointed that Carnival decides to inform guests after they book a cruise, Pride, Baltimore, Greenland, Canada, that there are no public restrooms at the ports of call. You dump 2,000 people in port with no bathrooms? Now I want to cancel, but gonna lose money. That's very unfair. Platinum almost diamond, and I can't believe this. I shouldn't lose money because of Carnival's deception. So, how did Carnival Cruise Lines deceive you? What deception is Carnival Cruise Lines putting out there by taking you to a place like Greenland, small villages? You have to tender in. There's not a lot of infrastructure there. I mean, they're super tiny. But what deception did the cruise lines portray upon you? Is it unfair that you learn that there's not a lot of public bathrooms in some of the ports, and now you want to cancel, but you'll lose money, and that won't be fair? I'm going to guess you didn't do any research on the places you were going to go before you booked this cruise. And I guess the topper on the cake for this one is I am platinum. I am almost diamond. And in all of my cruises, I haven't learned the one simple thing about cruises is do a little research on the places I'm gonna go. I would be a lot more sympathetic if this was a first-time cruiser going to ports that they just really know nothing about, or not familiar with some of the extra things you got to do to make your cruise more successful. But if you're gonna come on there and tout your status of I'm platinum, almost diamond, well, you know what? I think you knew better, but of course, that can't be the case. It's got to be, why didn't the cruise line tell me? And finally, I got a bonus comment for you today. Now, I'm not going to read this bonus comment. This one is going to come from the man himself, Mr. John Heel, the brand ambassador for Carnival Cruise Line. He does a weekly live show on Thursday over on Facebook. He likes to read some of these comments himself, respond to them himself, and I'm going to share another one of those with you today. Now, it is along the same lines, not exactly a why didn't the cruise line tell me, more of a why didn't the cruise lines give it to me type of situation. Why did I not think ahead for something I needed to know? So let's take a look at this comment.
But I had this one yesterday, right? And this is from somebody, I won't say the name or the ship they're on because that's too much information. But this lady wrote to me and said, we're on the Carnival blank. I won't say which one. My 8-year-old child won't eat unless he has chopsticks. Now, I did check this and I looked at the name and I thought, well, the name isn't Japanese. So certainly there's no ethnicity. There's no ethnicity. It doesn't matter if that they're not Japanese, but I did check. My 8-year-old won't eat unless he has chopsticks. It was a big deal for our waiter to go and get some. He was very rude and rolled his eyes at me. What do I need to do to get these on the table for every meal, including our breakfast, lunch, and Lido? Now, they only got on the ship on yesterday. They're cruising in doesn't matter where they're cruising. And I'm going to get the chopsticks for them. But I'm sure the waiter didn't roll his eyes and was rude. And if you asked somebody, maitre d' or something, they can do it there. But now they write to me, and now that's a day's lapse because of the time difference. Because I didn't get this. It was written yesterday, but I didn't see it until I woke up this morning. So now I have to organize the chopsticks, which I have. I spoke with the dining room manager, restaurant operations manager, to give it the exact title now, and they will arrange for a big a load of chopsticks to be sent to the cabin from the bonsai, and then they can take them and use them wherever they want. I understand the kid likes it, maybe has extra needs, and we definitely can help. But it does make me think that when people say the waiter was rude because he didn't bring them straight away, really, was he?
All right, so she boarded the cruise ship knowing that her 8-year-old child needed chopsticks to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, my very first thought is if you knew boarding this cruise ship, your child needs these specific things to eat, needs chopsticks to eat, why did you not bring them with you on board the ship? Why are you not a responsible parent to have the things you absolutely know you're going to need for your child when you board? Well, that didn't happen. So I guess why did you not go to the bonsai sushi on board the ship that does have the chopsticks and ask if you could get extra chopsticks again for a child you know has to have them? But no, didn't do that either. Instead, you said the waiter was rude. My server just rolled his eyes at me. And what I guess I find super interesting, and I notice this in a lot of comments, anytime they don't immediately get what they want, anytime that a crew member just doesn't hit the ground going, oh, yes, yes, I serve you now, I serve you now, they're always labeled as rude. Maybe that's just a coincidence. I don't know. But instead of just handling the situation, being a responsible adult, you write in a comment and try to get your server in trouble over, honestly, as a parent, something you should have had handled from the very beginning. But just like our theme is today, why didn't the cruise lines give it to me and prepare it for me? And that's going to be our video today for what every cruiser wants. If you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day, a really great weekend, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.